Hello, welcome back to Epifan Web. I'm Sadek, and today I'm going to show you how Vuex works in Vue.js. And in my previous video, I talked about the basic theory of Vuex and how it all works together. Now I will actually implement that in code, and I will go through all of them with some cool examples. Okay, so stick with me, guys, and let's go ahead and use that. Okay, in our project. So first of all, yeah, this was from previous video. If you have not watched it, go ahead and watch my previous video and come back to this one. It will really help you. Okay, now let's start with the installation process. So let's go ahead and do npm install. Sorry, you don't need to do that. Vuex. And here we will again use the store outside. Similarly, how we did for route. So we will do something like store.js. So it's a plain JavaScript file, and we'll call import Vue from Vue, obviously, and then we will import Vuex. Import Vuex from Vuex, and okay, it's installed. Perfect. So we will say vue.use Vuex. Okay, and let's go ahead and okay, this is the code snippets I have, but I think this is a little bit different. Let's see if I have any cool code snippets done. And I think we don't need this one. Yep, here you go. Okay, perfect. So here it's almost same like we have in data, and we have methods. Okay, we have computed and a lot of other cool stuff. So it's exactly the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and have an object called state, and it has to call this state. And let's go ahead with a counter. Okay, or yeah, counter is an ideal example. Kind counter, and let's start it with 1000. Okay, that's all. We don't need anything else. And then here we go. We need to, let's close all of the pages, tabs. We really hate keeping a lot of tabs. Okay, now in our app.js file, we have to use it because this is the entry point, and we have to actually import that. So let's import the store from store.js. So we can write from store. Cool. Okay, and then we have to use that store. Perfect, right? So we're running npm run watch, so this should be enough for now. And this is the documentation page I have kept open, so I will go through there as well. Okay, let's check out what's wrong with the code. View is not defined. Okay, so view is not defined. Maybe let's wait a moment. I'm not sure what I'm missing. View router, view.use router. Am I not using this way? Import view from view. Okay, let's go ahead with this. This doesn't really matter actually. Okay, that's okay. Maybe this one has to be bigger, the first one. Never mind, this is all documented here, so you will be able to find that out as well. Now here, if we come to the dev tool, we have Vuex, and sometime this one gives me extreme pain. I hope it will not get the pain. So here inside Vuex, you will be able to inspect the all the state. So you will be able to see the state in your Vuex. Okay, so let's go ahead. I don't know why sometime it doesn't work, sometime it works. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and instead of having in our code base, we will actually go ahead and create a new page, and actually we will let's create a new folder for our Vuex practice. Okay, so let's call it Vuex, and then we can call it comp a component a.view. Let's say we have another component comp v.view, and maybe another one comp c.view. Okay, so we have three, and let's have a root div, and everyone has just an h tag. Let's say it's component a. Let's write let's write comp a, and definitely I'm comp b, and I'm comp c. Okay, now let's have a page that uses this component. Okay, use comp. I don't know what to name, but we will be using all of these components in order to see what's going on. So we can have, okay, I will show how all other components react to changes. Okay, so perfect. Now let's go ahead and create a new page in our route.js file, and then we will just import it. Okay, so the name of this component we have written is use comp, and that's all. And we have, it's not under admins, it's under Vuex folder, and then we have use comp page. Okay, now here let's have a new route. Okay, test Vuex, and text Vuex will use this component. Okay, perfect. Here we go, we have come here, and here we have to follow some standard. So let's go ahead in category page and copy some boilerplate code. Okay, copy at least up to this part. Perfect. So let's go ahead and have it here. Okay, makes sense. It's not user comp, so let's go ahead and its name is test view text Vuex. Here you go, we have this component right up here, and so it's working, so we can simply remove that, and we have this store. Okay, now in the store has a counter, and we can simply use that. Okay, so the current state of counter is, we can use that store.state.counter. Let's see if we can use that. We're not getting an error. It's still refreshing. That's annoying. Are we using this state store? Yes, we are using. We're exporting the counter, so it seems to be all good. Switch to Vuex. Okay, never mind. Let's go ahead in here and create a created hook, and then console. Let's console the store. Here we go. So we have this dot store. Here we go. We have access to this dot store, and we have the state. We have the counter. Okay. So we have state. I don't know why I was not able to access that. So we have counter here, and we can easily store.state.counter. So store.state.counter. Have I done any misspelling? Here you go. I have 1000 here. So it seems working in the console. So why it's not working here? Okay, so I can have a misspelling, which can happen. Yeah, so I did a misspelling. I yet still don't know what was the wrong thing, but never mind. I will find that out once the video is published. Yeah, here you go. Okay, so we have it's really hard to see what's written there, so let's wrap it up with a h2 tag, which will be fine. Perfect. You see 1000, right? So now what is I'm doing here is just I'm just using it. Okay, so instead of having something like data, in my previous video I showed you what is the problem. Okay, instead of using data return, let's say counter 1000, yeah, so you can easily use the counter here. So but instead of using from here, what I'm doing is I'm using from the state, so that the other guys can actually use that. Okay, so here we can say IAM can be, and the counter is, okay. So now let's use this same counter. This is a very important tutorial for you guys, so that you can understand the why this one is required, why the Vuex is really required. So I'm using the same thing, and then definitely I will be using in components C. Okay, perfect. So every one of them is using the same exact state from the same bank, which I call this state. Okay, so all of them are referencing. So now let's see how we can actually import them. Okay, so we have to import the component. Let's see how we can import a component. We have an example component used in here, so we can import similarly just like this, or okay, never mind, let's import for, this way and see if it works. So we are currently under Vuex folder, so let's import comp a from, it's the name, so you can give any name. So we are in the same folder, it should work. Let's check out. Okay, it doesn't work. You can give a name comp a. I'm actually currently in, don't have to give a, okay, you can name it as component a.view, and maybe we don't need this one. Oh no, view is not defined actually, so we cannot use view. So let's use this way, import component a from comp a.view. cannot find module comp a.view. So the problem, let's see where it is actually pointing. Okay, yeah, I got it. So if I do something like this, yeah, here you go, we have all of the components now available. So comp a, and we can name it comp a as well. Yeah, it's available now. Now we have to use that. So how can we use that? We can use something like that, component. So we use it this way, component a, and then let's have a new div, and this div should be under here. Okay, let's move on here, and let's use this one. This is a component, so whatever I have used here, whatever I have in component A, it will now be available here. Here you go. So I have the component A, and the counter is 1000. So this is the current state. Okay, so this is this one is okay, let's call it the master components so that it's easier to understand. Components. Okay, so this is the master component. Okay, the first component that where this route is using this one, and I have imported component A, and also you can see the data. The same of every one of them is using the same data. Okay, so import component B, component C, B, C. Okay, so we have to use, if you don't know how to use component, this is how you do. You have to import the correct file from the correct location, and then you have to declare here, so you have to use them. Otherwise, if you try to use like this or without defining here, you will get an error. Okay, so let's make a new 3 new div, component B and component C. Make sense? Perfect. So component A counter 1000, component B counter 1000, component C counter 1000. Perfect. So what is the point of using all of them in the same place? Okay, now what I will be doing is that I will have a new button. Let's say my button call change the state of the counter. Okay, and let's say it's a type of info, and on click I will just run a method change counter. Okay, seems cool, right? Yeah, I feel like it's cool. So this particular example I have chosen for you guys to understand the data flow and why it's really required. Okay, here you go. Now once we click here, I want to change the data. Okay, I want to change the counter. Let's say I want to just increase the counter by 1. That's all I want to do. So what I will be doing is that I will call the remember in one of my last video I showed you this is the state, and this state can be used getters. Perfect, but I have not used getter yet. I'm using directly, which is not a good idea to use your state directly, but you can use though. So after that, from the component I will dispatch an actions. Instead of dispatching an action, I will simply call a mutation. Okay, and this mutation will change the state. Okay, so currently what I will be doing is that this store dot store commit, and I have to change the name of my commit. So what I will be doing is that I can call anything change the counter. I can pass some data. Okay, or I don't have to pass. Let's say pass the value by 1. Okay, now in the store we have something called we have mutations, and here I can have this function here, and this will take the current state and the data or payload. Okay, you can say it as a payload or anything. Okay, I will call it data. So what data I passed, you can see the data I have passed is console.log data. It's definitely 1, right? Yeah, if everything is fine, we should see a console.log by 1. Perfect. So let's go ahead, click on it. You see 1, and we have to pass this state. Okay, now here we will say, okay, go to the state. This is the state we are accessing from here, and we are passing this state. Otherwise we will not be able to access it. State dot counter plus equal data or number. Okay, so it will actually increase it. So I told you we can call an action can call the mutation, and then we can change the state. So instead of changing the state from action, we can do it directly from the mutation. So let's go ahead. What do you think what will happen now? Super easy, super easy. Since this data is being referenced by component A, B, C, and here 4 component is using the same piece of data from the same bank. So what will happen is that as soon as I change, every one of them should change. Okay, awesome. You see, all of the component is getting reactively updated, and that is the beauty of, yeah, you can see that is the beauty of Vuex. Okay, now imagine, assume you want to change this data separately. So what you have to do, you have to have your local data here, local data here, local data here, and then I don't know, you have to pass some props and you have to do some updating yourself, and yeah, it will be really nasty, and it's going to be really painful to manage. Let's say you have 100 yeah, at least let's say you have 50 components, and you want to manage the state. You will be really in a terrible place, and you will not be able to update anyway. Okay, so that is the reason we use Vuex to control the state from a single source of truth. That is what it is known as. Okay, single source of truth. So the state, this state is here known as the single source of the truth, and this is the beauty where everyone can use. Okay, now I will show in the next video how we can use the action, how we can use the getters, how we can combine all of them together instead of using the state directly here, how we can use them in a much better way, standard way. So stick with me guys, have a nice time, thank you.